And, so waking up is a trigger, time to put on the exercise clothes, which triggers, it's like, okay, now it's time to go work out. If I stay in my pajamas even for a few more minutes, then it's like that trigger is missing, that delineation. Or maybe if it's somebody, listening to this who's working part-time or full-time, wants to, is trying to start their business, and they realize, well, a habit I need to form, because I know consistency is going to be important in building my business, is to work an hour and a half or 2 hours every day or Monday through Friday on my business. And so maybe the trigger is, well, once I put the kids to bed at night, that's the trigger of now it's time to go into the office and work on my business. And, again, you'd want to imagine that behavior. What do I need to be put into place? Do I need to let the family know, hey, during these times, please don't bother me, and I'll make sure I've attended to everybody and their homework, or putting them to bed before that? Or is it, planning that out, having the trigger. And then the final thing is to plan for consistency, not performance at first. And the example for that would be, we're both, Sterling and I, we've been working on, new exercise routines as becoming a part of habit. And at first, even though I know, the ultimate goal for weight loss and things like that is, I know I'm going to need to change diet and build up muscle, and muscle burns fat and stuff. But at first, I just want to have a habit of getting up and going down and exercising. So I just decided, even if I just go and do the elliptical and I don't worry right now about weight training or changing up my cardio, I just go do that one thing consistently every morning, then at least the getting up and getting down there for 45 minutes every morning will be a habit. And then at the next point, I can think about, okay, now how do I add in strength training? How do I take this to the next level? So it's more important to hit that consistency than performance at first. The performance can be added later as further habit development.
Well, and even taking that a step further for me, I've got to drive over to the gym. You've got the luck of having it in the building. But
right.
For me, I actually made it so that even if I'm tired or whatever, because of the ritual I created, even if I'm like, I just don't want to go, then all of a sudden, boom, that little thing pops up at 4:00. I actually just go, even if all I do, like normally I'm there actually an hour and a half or so, including the hot tub and stuff. But even if I just go for 20 minutes and leave, I'll go do cardio until I just can't do it anymore. If I'm super tired or even just physically tired from the workout the day before, I go do something, because I want the habit is almost not even for me what I do at the gym, but getting to the gym. So
right.
It's an interesting thing. I mean, I went one day and about 15 minutes of cardio, and I was like, yeah, that's all I got today. Then I went home, but at least I went and did it so that it keeps up that design of the habit.
Absolutely. That's a great example. So step number 2 is to create a ritual. And the reason we call it a ritual is because it's a very deliberate thing and it has a trigger. You've planned it out in detail. You've imagined the behavior and you plan to make it a consistent, important part of your life that eventually is just going to be a thing you just do. Step number 3, inevitability thinking. And this is a really important one. This is putting things into place to make it inevitable that you will do that thing. And one small example is the putting on of exercise clothes right away. The not sitting down at all at my desk or in front of my laptop at all in the morning. Not even if I'm tempted to look at one thing, even if it's for 30 seconds. I know that's too high of a risk. I want this to be inevitable that I'm going to end up downstairs and exercising. Maybe a better example would be I have a friend who was wanting to make it a habit to drink more water, and one way to do that was to drink more first thing when he got up to rehydrate his body after being asleep overnight. But he was having a hard time remembering to go and sit down and drink the water, or just go grab his water bottle. So going back to creating a ritual, you might the night before make sure you've got your water filtered if you have one of those filter pitchers, or making sure that maybe you have a specific water bottle you set next to your bed. But for him, actually what he did, because for him a habit was already to get up and go brew his coffee. What he did is he set the water bottle right in front of the coffee pot. So you couldn't pull the coffee pot out of the machine to, do whatever you needed to do to start the coffee, like the water bottle sitting there in his way. And so the inevitability thinking was, well, I know I'm going to go to make my coffee. And if I have to grab the water bottle to get the coffee pot out, then I know I'm going to drink the water, because that's going to, again, it's a trigger. So inevitability thinking is just putting those kinds of things. And that's one of the reasons like masterminds work, because accountability is a great inevitability trigger, or a great way of putting inevitability into a ritual. Telling a friend, it's like, look, I'm going to go work out every day. And if I don't, I'm going to, if I miss one of the days in the next 3 weeks, I'm buying you a steak dinner. Just that little maybe bit of competition or not wanting to have to put out for an expensive steak dinner is a way to make it more inevitable for yourself. Or for you, it was adding in the reward of being able to sit in the sauna and sit in the hot tub and knowing it's like, hey, because I know I get to do that. So both these, these toward pleasure and away from pain can both be nice little triggers. Inevitability thinking. So just thinking through what are some things I can put in place to make it inevitable that I'm going to do this thing is going to be very, very important.
Well, and the two things that I did with that whole going to the gym thing was I got one of my friends to decide to go at the same time. But the thing for him is it was a little further away than the gym. I mean, he's got a gym right by his house, and so do I. So he had to go a little bit further to come to mine. And what that set up for me is if I don't go, then he's going to drive out of his way when he doesn't have to. So I kind of set up that pain. And then kind of the pleasure part was that, once I went, I thought, oh my gosh, I want to do a steam and a hot tub. I added that at the end. So basically, I only do that if I do all of the stuff. So that day that I went and just did 20 minutes of cardio, I just left after. I tried to set it up so that it works that way for me. Now, I would actually normally probably do like you do and just go right in the morning. But I know that for me and having to drive somewhere else, it's a little bit more of a hassle. So I had to set up some sort of trigger, some sort of thing that would make it so that I don't really have an excuse. I got to go there so that, my friend isn't disappointed in the fact that he had to drive all the way over there. So, and he did, he's got his own system set up that way by coming, and we talk business while we're there because we're both do the same business stuff. So, he wants to go there for the pleasure of chatting and stuff as well as working out. But anyway, that's how I set up the pain and pleasure thing.
So inevitability thinking could be planning incentives, whether pain or pleasure incentives. It could be setting reminders, putting out your exercise clothes the night before, putting your water bottle in a place where you'll run into it. So you drink the water, or it could be, and then the other way for inevitability thinking is to remove temptations. I know when it comes to like email and Twitter and stuff, you had some things that you were doing there.
Yeah, that's where, if I know I'm going to be working for this 2-hour block and it's really important, it's something I got to put all my mind and energy on, I shut Skype, shut TweetDeck, and shut Gmail altogether. And I'll even turn my phone on vibrate. So I just have nothing, there's no temptation to go, oh, let's take a break and see what's going on with Twitter or Facebook or see what emails come in or any of that kind of stuff. It's like I've got to just remove the temptation to do that. And with the workout stuff, with the exception of the doctor appointment where he only had that time, I just know not to schedule anything between 4 and 6. Sorry, it just doesn't get scheduled there because that's a block that stays solid to that's what happens then.